Hey everyone, today we're going to go on a pretty cool journey. We're going to start with just a simple idea and see how it becomes a real full-fledged computing innovation. And along the way, we're going to totally master the AP Computer Science Principles Big Idea 1.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever had one of those light bulb moments? A great idea for an app. You know, that flash of inspiration for something that could solve a real problem or maybe just be a lot of fun to use.
I bet you have. But how does that idea actually turn into a real program that you can use on your phone or computer? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to follow the entire path from that first little spark of genius all the way to a working piece of software.
All right, so the very first step might actually surprise you. It's teamwork. Yeah, you heard that right. The big secret in the tech world is that almost nothing is built by just one person. It all starts with the power of collaboration.
So why is working together so darn important? Well, it's because when you bring different perspectives to the table, you just build way better solutions. Think of it like this. Collaboration is kind of like a mirror. It helps us see the blind spots in our own thinking. And that's exactly how we catch those hidden biases, which, in the end, makes the program usable for all sorts of different people.
Here's our perfect example. Imagine if only a group of teenagers designed a brand new social media app. Sure, it might be awesome for them, but what about older users? They might find it completely confusing, right? This is exactly why having different perspectives isn't just a nice-to-have, it is absolutely essential.
And one of the coolest techniques for this is something called pair programming. Now, this is way more than just two people coding at the same time. It's a really important practice in modern development because, honestly, it just produces higher quality code. You've got two clear roles. The driver is the one who's actually typing the code, and then you have the navigator who is observing, checking for mistakes, and kind of thinking about the bigger picture.
And this brings up a really common mistake people make. Real collaboration isn't just about splitting up a to-do list and going off on your own. No way. The real magic happens when a team is constantly sharing ideas, giving each other feedback, and building on what everyone else is doing.
Okay, time for a quick check-in. Which of these best explains the benefit of collaboration? Is it A, it reduces programming time only? B, it combines multiple perspectives for a better outcome? Or C, it removes the need for testing? The answer is B, for sure. It's all about bringing those different viewpoints together to create something way better.
All right, so we've got our team assembled. Now we need to get into how a program actually, well, thinks. And believe it or not, it all boils down to three really simple steps: input, process, and output.
And get this. This is the core of every single program you have ever used. Seriously, first you have the input. That's just the data you give the program, like a keyboard click or something you type in. Second, the program processes that input. It uses its internal logic to do something with it. And finally, it produces an output. That's the result, like text popping up on your screen or sound playing.
Okay, but here's what's so cool about most modern programs. They don't just run in a simple top-to-bottom line of code. Instead, they use something called event-driven programming. What does that mean? It means the code runs in response to an event, like you clicking a mouse or pressing a key. So the program is pretty much just sitting there, waiting, and reacting to what you do. Kind of neat, right? Okay, so we've got the team and we've got the basic logic down. Now for the really fun part, actually building the thing. And this brings us to what's called the build, test, repeat cycle. You'll also hear this called the development process.
Now, super important thing to remember. This is not a straight line. It's a loop. It's a cycle. You start by investigating the problem. Then you design a plan for how to solve it. Next, you build a quick first version. We call that a prototype. Then, and this part is absolutely critical, you test it for functionality and for bugs. And based on what you find, you iterate. That's a key word. It just means you repeat the cycle, making improvements every single time. Honestly, this loop is the heart of how all great software gets made.
So if there's one thing to take away here, it's this. You don't just build the program once and say, okay, I'm done. Nope. The real goal is to continuously improve it based on all that feedback and testing you're doing. It's all about that cycle of refinement.
All right, another quick check-in. What's the main characteristic of iterative development? Is it A, building the whole program all at once, B, repeating a cycle of design and testing to make the program better, or C, skipping the testing phase to save time? That's right, it's B. You got it. It's all about that constant cycle of improvement.
Okay, let's talk about something every
and I mean every developer deals with, bugs. Yep, this section is all about finding and fixing those little errors. And here's the thing to remember, bugs aren't failures. They're just a normal, expected part of the creative process.
So you're going to want to pay close attention here, because this is definitely a must-know. There are basically 4 main types of errors you'll run into. First up, you've got a logic error. This is a tricky one. The program runs, but it just gives you the wrong result. Think, you used a plus sign when you meant to use a minus. Whoops. Second is a syntax error. This is basically a typo. You broke a rule of the programming language, like missing a parenthesis. Third, a runtime error. This is an error that pops up while the program is running. A classic example is trying to divide a number by 0. And finally, there's an overflow error. This happens when a number just gets way too big for the computer to store.
So how in the world do we find these things? Well, developers have a whole toolkit of techniques. They'll use specific test cases to check their work. They'll hand trace the code, which means they literally follow it line by line with a pencil and paper to see what it's doing. And they'll add print statements to their code to see what the values of their variables are, kind of like looking behind the scenes. These are absolutely essential debugging skills.
And this brings me to a classic rookie mistake. A lot of people just test one normal input and call it a day. But that's not enough. Smart testing means you always check the edge cases. These are the extreme inputs, like the smallest possible number, the largest possible number, or even 0. Trust me, that is where the trickiest bugs love to hide.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot, right? We've talked about collaboration, how programs think, the whole development cycle, and even how to hunt down bugs. So, now it's your turn to create. Let's tie everything we've just learned directly to your AP Create task.
Think about it. This whole journey we've just been on, that's the blueprint for your project. You're going to need to build your very own program. You'll have to include things like a list and a procedure. You'll need to explain what your program is for, its purpose, and you'll have to describe how it works, what your algorithm is. Literally everything we just talked about, teamwork, iterative design, debugging, that's the exact recipe you'll need to succeed.
So just think about that for a second. A little while ago, you just had an idea. But now you have the complete roadmap to actually bring it to life. So the only question left is, what are you going to create?